Hi guys, I just wanted to do a video on the first 72 hours, meaning the first 72 hours after you have the baby. This, I feel, is one of the most critical times for a new mom or even, a mom that's had multiple babies and is choosing to breastfeed again. One thing that I find to be really important is that this time is setting basically your foundation for your breastfeeding. So a lot of times you'll run into when you're in the hospital, you don't have a pump, they just want you to breastfeed. Breastfeed is what they tell you. Breastfeed. Put the baby to the breast. That's all you gotta do. Well, I find that some of the biggest things that I feel set mothers up for failure in regards to breastfeeding is that they tell you that breastfeeding is the most natural thing in the world. Well, that's kind of a lie. Breastfeeding is very hard. It is the second hardest part of giving birth. It really is. There's just so many things that if you've never breastfed before that you just don't know and that you're not really expecting. So I want to talk about the first 72 hours because I feel like this is the crucial part in establishing your milk. So let's talk about, I'm not going to talk about, if you have a NICU baby or, if you have a traumatic birth or anything like that. We're just going to talk about having routine vaginal birth or C-section, no complications, and go from there. Okay, whenever we talk about other things like NICU babies and C-sections and traumatic births, that's a little bit of a different educational focus that talks a little bit more in depth about certain things. So let's talk about the basics first, and then we will move on from there. So you just had the baby. So recommendation, of course, is skin to skin with that baby and breastfeeding within the first hour after delivery. So routinely though speaking, physiologically speaking, babies have this like crawl mechanism that's like built into them where that is what they do. If you put them at your belly, there's this great video that a lactation specialist showed me one time and it was just so beautiful. This baby was put on the mommy's belly and literally managed to crawl its way up to the boob. So that's the goal, okay? You want to get that baby on the breast as soon as possible. I know my first daughter tried to breastfeed within the first 10 minutes, and then she was a vaginal birth, and then my second baby was a C-section, and she had to be taken to the warmer for about 10 minutes, and then as soon as they brought her over, literally that girl was looking for the boob and hasn't been off since. So every baby has that in them. It's this instinct, physiological survival method, okay? They're gonna be looking for that boob. So that's kind of your first thing, okay? Baby's born, embrace that beautiful little baby, the thing you made, that little tiny human that your body created. Okay, but just keep in mind that you want to get them on the breast as soon as possible, especially within that first hour. This is very important, okay, for triggering that hormonal change, release, getting that baby to feed during that wonderful, they usually have like a 2-hour wake cycle after being born, and that's the perfect time to get them on the boob, keep them on the boob until they want to go back to sleep for a couple hours. Okay, so first thing, get them on that boob. So that's the first thing that I feel is really important. And sometimes whenever you do have situations that go on, that sometimes doesn't happen, where you don't get them on the boob, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a successful breastfeeding journey. Okay, so getting them on the boob is key. You can put them on any side, doesn't matter, okay? You just get them on there. They usually will breastfeed sometimes, just practicing sucking. It's not really like a true breastfeed at first, and that's okay too. They don't come out knowing everything about knowing how to feed themselves. So you have to give them a chance. They're learning just how you and me are learning. So that is something that a lot is like a very big misconception that triggers moms' anxieties and saying, oh, my baby's not eating, my baby's not breastfeeding, I need to give formula. So educating yourself and knowing that they don't always latch right on and they're like perfect from the get-go. That doesn't always happen. So sometimes you have to keep going back and keep switching sides and change your position to get them to a good place where they feel like, they're able to breastfeed. And sometimes, it just takes a minute. Sometimes you got to try a few different things. That's all right. It's not bad. So getting them to breastfeed within that first hour is key. Now, this is something I was never taught in nursing school, and I learned this firsthand as a mother, not as a NICU nurse or as a labor and delivery nurse. I learned this first thing as a mother. So with my first baby, she had tongue and lip tie. So she did not have a good latch. I did not understand what was going on. My supply was not coming in. I was having very, very, very much of a hard time. And hand expression really wasn't mentioned to me until closer to about the 24-hour mark of her being born, which is sad to me. So this is what I encourage mothers to do. This has been proven to basically help get your milk in faster, okay, and stronger, have better supply, and then your baby loses less weight, passes more meconium, and keeps that bilirubin down, okay? So those are all really important things, okay? So what I recommend is that you keep that baby skin to skin and you're doing breastfeeding the best you can within that wake time, which is usually that 2 hours after birth. And then whenever that baby is taken away from you to get weight, footprints, whatever, I know that after birth, there are lots of things going on, okay? Usually getting cleaned up, they're making you go to the bathroom, they're making you get changed because you're getting ready to transfer to a room. So during that time, okay, I want you, if you can remember, okay, just gently massage your breasts and try to hand express, okay, and see if you can get anything out. If you can get anything out, what I recommend is that you put that in a spoon. You hand express in a spoon. So this is something, again, that I didn't know until closer to the 24-hour mark, and I never really even saw it in the NICU, which to me is kind of sad because I feel as a nurse I should have known that. And then as a first-time mom struggling to breastfeed, it was just something that, like, I was like, wait, what? What are you doing? Putting my breast milk in a spoon and feeding that to a baby? What? So that's what we do. So one awesome thing to do, okay, is once that baby unlatches, like say you want that baby, you want your husband to hold the baby for the first time. That's great. Share that moment. But once that baby comes off and you feel it's a good time for you, I want you to hand express, okay, and see if you can express any of your colostrum into a spoon, okay? If you can, get that colostrum into that spoon and then give that to the baby. That truly helps, okay, with keeping weight up, helping your milk come in, and keeping those bilirubin levels down and having them pass all of their meconium, okay? So hand expression is key, okay? I feel that without learning or doing or performing hand expression when you're in the hospital is kind of sad. You should always do that in the beginning days because it's very, very, very important, okay? Hand expression, I'm going to use my boob. So, yeah, that's what you get, my big old boob. So hand expression, when I was taught, they taught me to grab here. And I have really big breasts, okay? So I can't grab my whole boob. Like, I was like, I find this to be very difficult because they told me that I needed to come up under here and come up top here, press back and push forward. And I was like, whoa, like what is happening here? So hand expression can be difficult for some. So one thing I want you guys to just know, okay, that hand expression is just trying to get out a little bit of colostrum. So I found that really gripping underneath here and then this top part of my breast, which was always swollen for me whenever my milk was coming in, I would take my thumb and I would just gently express downward and I'm gripping right here. So can you see what I'm gripping underneath? So I have a nice grip, and then I'm squeezing. So I'm squeezing underneath, and then I'm gently expressing down, okay? Now, the first time you do that, it's not always going to yield you any colostrum. Some women are already dripping, which is like fantastic, and they can express a lot. But sometimes this takes, 3, 4, 5 times, okay, to do before you're able to get some out, okay? So just keep trying, okay? And if you get some out, put it on a spoon and give it to baby. Anything you express out, give it to baby, okay? That'll help. It doesn't mean that they're not going to wake up to breastfeed, because believe me, they will. They'll wake up every 1 to 3 hours for the first 24 hours, and sometimes 1 to 3 hours continues for days on end, which is why the 72 hours is the most important and the most exhausting for mothers, okay? I just want to be real with you. It's exhausting. It's life-changing. You have new roles. You're trying to do all of these things. Your vagina hurts because you just pushed a baby out. Like, you feel like you got kicked in the vagina like multiple times. It hurts, especially if you tore. It hurts to walk. You're on pain meds. You're tired. You're exhausted because you just delivered a baby. But yet you're filled with this unimaginable joy that you never thought you would ever feel or know, because you have this tiny new human. So it's just this wonderful experience, but can also be very stressful. So back to this. Hand expression. You can do this 3, 4, 5 times before you get anything out, but I want you to do it on both sides, okay? Both sides, okay? So put it in a spoon or put it in a bottle, okay? I want you to try to do this before you get transferred down to your mother-baby unit, okay? And give your baby that, because while all of that's going on, your baby's gonna hit that 2-hour, okay, mark, and then they're gonna sleep, okay? So, and then, of course, you're going to want to sleep, right? So then if you've already expressed that colostrum, then, woo, that part's done, and you got your baby that wonderful stuff. So that is something I want you to try to do, okay, after baby is born, and that's like the first goal. Yay for you. You've done amazing. You got your baby on the breast multiple times. If not just one time, doesn't matter. One time's great. Perfect. Fine. And you expressed a little bit of breast milk by hand expression, okay, your colostrum, and you gave that to baby. So that's great. So now let's talk about what's going to be happening next. So you're going to be transferring down to your mother-baby unit. Again, another room, transferring to a different place. So with that, okay, again, you're going to get settled. Baby's probably going to wake up. The number one rule here, okay, with getting your milk in and maintaining your supply throughout your breastfeeding journey, okay, please remember this, is supply and demand, okay? If you do not demand breast milk from your body to be made by putting that baby to breast, your supply will not stay maintained, okay? That's the number one thing. And the most important time to establish that is within the first 72 hours, okay? So when that baby wakes up, okay, within that first 72 hours and on forward with your breastfeeding journey until your breast milk supply is established, which is usually around the 12-week, 3-month mark, you put that baby to breast. Baby goes to breast. Baby goes to breast, okay? Can't say that enough. Baby goes to breast. Okay, and you're going to be rotating breasts each time. Each feed, you rotate breasts. So you don't always put baby to this side and then switch to this side. If you start a feed, baby goes to this side. The next feed, baby goes to this side, okay? And I want you guys to remember that, okay, because that's super important. The reason they don't recommend giving a bottle or a pacifier during this time is not because you're going to like totally ruin your baby and your baby's never going to breastfeed if you give them a bottle or pacifier. I don't like it when people scare mothers by saying things like that. I don't feel like that's really right. So I've experienced both. My baby had trouble latching, my first daughter, so they would give her a pacifier with my expressed colostrum. And needless to say, she had a nursing strike at 4 months. We struggled and then never came on the breast again. But that has nothing to do with a pacifier in a bottle, in my opinion. I believe that that's not really true. That's just my personal experience. So in regards to that, it is better to wait to give a pacifier or a bottle unless you have to supplement, okay? But we're not there yet because your baby was just born. So why do you have to supplement? You don't, okay? So whenever you get down to mother baby and you're situated and baby wakes up, you put your baby back to the breast, okay? Now, I want to talk about this because if you're having a painful latch or you're struggling to get your baby latched, please do not wait or hesitate to ask for a lactation specialist to come see you, okay, or talk to the nurse that is assigned to you. Most mother-baby nurses are trained in lactation, okay, for the basics. They should know the warning signs of a baby that may be tongue or lip tied or is having difficulty latching. Moms can have flat inverted nipples that also cause it to be difficult for baby to latch, but there are ways that we can work with that, okay? So if you're having painful latching, like when you get the baby on and you feel like the baby has a good latch, okay, by meaning feel, like you're seeing that their lips are flanged up against that breast, flanged meaning out, okay, nice and out, so like out, okay, up against that breast, and it doesn't look like a shallow latch, okay? A shallow latch is like when they just have the nipple, okay, just your nipple in their mouth, and then they kind of have like a fish suck. I don't know if you ever see that. Sort of cheeks get sucked in, and it's like poofing out like that. That is a shallow latch, and that A, hurts, and B, they're not really transferring anything, okay? They're not really getting anything, okay? So you're looking for that. Make sure they don't have that. Make sure their lips are flanged, and they have a good suck, okay? You can hear a baby swallow at the breast, okay? If they're real quiet and you really looking at them, you get down there and you look at them, okay? And you're looking at their mouth and you're looking at their throat, you can hear them go, and you can hear them swallow, okay? So that's also something to look for. Again, they're not going to be swallowing a whole lot, okay, during these first few days because they're not taking in a lot, right? Okay? So once you have the baby to the breast and baby unlatches, I want you to repeat, okay, the same thing that I told you to do before you were transferred. Hand express on both sides into a spoon, okay, and give that to baby. Now, if you're having a hard time hand expressing and it's not really working for you, okay, and you are just not wanting to do that, or you just want to pump, listen up. You can totally pump, okay? Pumping is okay. For some reason, we have this thing with breastfeeding friendly hospitals, okay, that they just want breastfeeding, baby to breast, baby to breast, baby to breast, okay? And I experienced this personally where I was refused a pump kit. I asked for one and they were like, nope, you don't need it. You just need to put baby to breast, even though my baby was having latch problems and it hurt me. And I was really struggling. I mean, I was a hot mess. I was bawling. I was like, why isn't this working? Breastfeeding is the most natural thing in the world, so I have been told. Why is this happening? And I was a freaking mess. And they didn't give me a pump. I didn't get a pump kit. And that really was not good for me, okay? I should have been given a pump, been sized for my flanges, and sent on my merry way, okay? So if hand expression isn't working for you or you just don't want to hand express, you have every right to ask your nurse for a pump kit, which is most likely going to be a Medela pump kit, and there's nothing wrong with Medela. Medela is a brand that pretty much all hospitals use. It's a great brand, okay? Ask for a Medela pump kit and have them bring you the portable breast pump. Hook yourself up. Make sure that they are there to help you size flanges if they have no idea what you're talking about. Again, that's not uncommon. Most people don't know that you need to be sized for your flanges. It's kind of lactation 101, but most people don't know that. It's kind of something that flies under the radar, unfortunately. So ask them for a pump kit, bring in that portable breast pump, and hook yourself up. So we'll talk about sizing flanges. Sizing flanges is to me, okay, really important because this has a huge impact on your supply, okay, and how much you're able to get out, okay? So let me get my fake boob here and my flange so I can show you what I mean. Okay. So this is my fake boob. Very cute. Fits in the palm of your hand. Perfect size. Anyway, I mean, it's like I have like 10 of these in my bra. So as you can see, this is easier for demonstration, okay? So when you're fitting flanges, this is so important because if you don't have the proper size flange that fits your breast, you're gonna have difficulty with expressing your milk, getting it out, maintaining your supply, and it can freaking hurt, okay? If you have too small of flanges, you can have blisters underneath your breast caused by the improper flange size. I mean, ouch, okay? Rubbing, it hurts, it feels like it's pinching. We don't want any of that, okay? Because if you're gonna pump, and most likely you will, you're gonna have some type of pumping journey, especially if you go back to work, or even if you wanna pump some milk to go out on a date night, okay? So sizing flanges is important. So how you size flanges, okay? The quick and dirty way, okay? How to size flanges. This is the quick and dirty way, okay? So when you're in the hospital, it's really important. You wanna put that flange on and you want to line it up so your nipple is in the middle, okay? If you guys can see this, your nipple is in the middle of the flange, and by middle, it's between the middle of these two spaces, okay? So once you have that lined up, now you want to look, okay, for how much space is above the flange and below the flange where your nipple is, okay? So I'm talking about this space up, this space down, okay? So most people don't even pay attention to this at all, okay? Now this right here, for this size nipple, this is a little big, okay? This is kind of too big, okay? So I don't even have a flange size small enough to show you what a proper fitting for this is, okay? So I'm gonna try to cover it up the best I can so you can see it. So see how much space there is? A good flange size would be about that much space, okay, above, and about that much space below, if that makes any sense. That would be a proper size flange, okay, for this size nipple and this breast, okay? Now, again, this is something that needs to be done, okay? You have to have your flanges sized. The Medela comes with a 27 size and, a 24 size and a 27 size. Well, those aren't, you know, like to fit all, okay? For instance, me, I'm a 30 mm, and those came with a 24 and a 27. And when I first started pumping with my first daughter, when I got home, I was using a 24. My breasts hurt so bad, and I just absolutely tore up my nipple because, I mean, I was like trying to suck something, you know, through this tiny little hole that didn't fit. And so this is so important, and it decreases stress, and you're not in pain after you just delivered this baby. You don't need any more pain, okay? So sizing flanges is important. This is the quick and dirty, okay? So if you wanted to get technical, there will be another video and a little infographic that I can show you on the technical part of actually measuring your areolar, okay? Your areolar is the flesh colored, okay, the darker colored, okay, part you would measure, okay? And then it's a mathematical thing, you measure and then it'll tell you what size you need. So as a side note, while we're talking about flanging or sizing flanges, is that say none of the sizes that come with anything are fitting your boob, okay? And you're really struggling. There is a product called Pumping Pals. They're like these silicone inserts that you can put in your flanges that have helped so many women that have those in between sizes, okay? So that's definitely something to look into if you're struggling, okay? So now that we talked about that, so you don't want to hand express or you hand expressed, and now you're asking for the pump kit and the portable pump, you get it. You did the quick and dirty, size your flange, hook yourself up, and I want you to pump, okay, for 10 to 15 minutes. That's all you need to do. No more than 15. Your milk needs to come in, but you're helping stimulating those hormones, that oxytocin release, okay, to help get out what you have in there to help bring that milk in faster. So a lot of people, and I will warn you, a lot of people will tell you, well, you don't need that. You just need to put baby to breast. That's going to cause you to have a major oversupply, blah, blah, blah. No. With my first daughter, I started pumping on day 2. And I struggled with my supply the whole entire time with her. My second daughter, I started pumping literally before the 24-hour mark. And I was hand expressing, and my milk came in on day 3. And I have had a great supply, no problems. So I feel kind of mother dependent with kind of what you're predestined to have, but it helps bring your milk in, and it also, studies show that it helps, bring that milk supply up to optimal levels, okay? Not barely, but optimal levels, if not in the middle, if not higher, okay? So that's important. Anything you pump, okay, whenever you're pumping, okay, I want you to suck up with a syringe. You can ask that nurse for a syringe, suck it up with a syringe, okay, hold on to it, and then when baby wakes up again, put baby to breast, rotating sides, let baby eat at breast, and then when baby's done, you can give baby a little bit. So I have some, well, let's go back. I want you to do that, okay, until your milk comes in, okay? So you're going to be doing that, okay, until your milk comes in. That routine will help you so much. It keeps your baby's weight up. It prevents high belly levels, and it helps get them to pass all their meconium. So, so, so important, okay? This is something that is missed so many times in breastfeeding education, and I cannot stress that enough. I want you to do that routine, okay? You put baby to breast, okay, within the first hour. Every time baby wakes up, you put baby to breast. Baby goes to breast, number 1. Breast is number 1, okay? Once baby is off breast, you hand express into a spoon, suck it up with a syringe, give it to baby, or you can pump, suck that up with a syringe, and give it to baby after baby is off of breast. You're gonna do this routine, okay, until your milk comes in. Okay, so, so, so important, okay? And it'll help ease your stress and anxiety because you can actually see what you may be getting out of your breast and knowing that you're giving something to your baby, which I find to be a number 1 thing that causes a lot of mothers a lot of stress and a lot of anxieties. They're like, well, I can't see anything coming out of my breast. My baby's not getting anything. My baby's starving, so I need to give it formula. No, you don't. Okay, the most important thing that we monitor with babies after they are born is their weight loss. Okay, so, and if they're passing their first stool, and if they're having a wet diaper, and if they're having continued wet diapers. If your baby is having continued wet diapers, okay, we usually say about 8 wet and dirty diapers in a 24-hour period. If your baby's having that and your baby's past meconium or passing more meconium, your baby's getting something to eat, okay? Because that's stimulating the GI to get it out, okay? They're eating, okay? So please don't panic, okay? When we worry is when baby is losing too much weight, okay, which is usually around that 48 to 72 hour mark, particularly the 72-hour mark, if they're not getting anything, and then they'll talk to you about possibly supplementing, okay? But we don't need to supplement within the first 24 to 48, sometimes even 72 hours, okay? I want you to keep this routine and keep going with that. I promise you, okay, this delivers good results. So I want you to do that, okay? Now, when you're in the hospital, you're doing all these things, you're pumping, you've sized for your flanges, you're giving that baby colostrum. I want to give you a visual aid of what typically, okay, happens. So within the first feeding, they can get anywhere between 2 and 5 mils, up to 7 mils is usually what you'll find. This is a syringe, so if you can see it, 2 mils, which is like really nothing. I mean, look at that. That's such a small amount. But the beautiful thing about colostrum is it has everything the baby needs and more. It has a ton of immunity things in it that help protect the baby. It's the baby's first line of immune protection, which is why it's so important to give them that colostrum. It has a ton of other packed stuff, fat, protein, high calories to give them everything that they need until your milk comes in, okay? That's what colostrum is made for. That's what our bodies make it for, is it has such a higher content of everything that the baby could possibly need until your milk starts to transition and come in. But I want a visual aid, okay? That's a small amount, okay? So don't panic if you're not like, dripping gobs of milk or, like squirting everybody with your boobs, okay? That's not how it happens. This is a gradual thing. After you deliver the baby in the placenta, it takes a couple days. It's a gradual thing for your hormones to shift and things to kick in for your milk to come in, okay? But this is a visual aid, okay, that this is what a baby can take at a feed on the lower end, okay? This 2 mils, which means for that first 24 hours, if they're taking between 2 and 7 mils, that means that they can take roughly anywhere, there's my other visual aid, between half an ounce, this is in a 24-hour period, okay, half an ounce in 24 hours on the low end, or the high end of an ounce, okay? So this is a little bit more, but again, this is in a 24-hour period, okay, 24 hours, not in one feed, 24 hours. So this goes back to me explaining to you that whenever, people say, oh, well, baby's not getting anything, you should supplement, and they hand you a formula bottle that's as big as this, slap a nipple on it and say, here you go. Ugh, I just want to bang my head up against a wall, okay? If a baby takes only an ounce on a high end in a 24-hour period, a baby should not take 2.5 ounces in one feeding. That's why they sleep for hours on end, throw up a lot, burp a lot, because that's just too much for them, okay? They drool at their mouth. It's just not, it's too much. It's too much. Nothing wrong with formula. That's just too much for one feed. This is what they were designed to do in a 24-hour period on the high end. This is a 24-hour period on a low end, okay? Now, so in a bottle form, say you were pumping, okay, because you couldn't hand express, but you pumped, and you got 5 mils, 5 to 7 mils in your bottle. This is what that amount would look like, okay, in the little pumping bottles that you'll get, okay, in your pump pack. So this is actually bomb. You're doing good. And see how it's, bright yellow? Sometimes it comes out super bright yellow, gold. Sometimes it's just white. Sometimes it's clear with little flecks of yellow. Absolutely normal. You're rocking it, okay? I got a little bit less than this when I would pump, and I was like, yeah, because I would suck it up with a syringe and give it to baby, okay? So this is what you would typically get, okay? Now, as a visual aid, just to show you, because when your milk comes in, average time for that is around the 3-day mark. Sometimes for first-time mothers, it's a little bit delayed and it'll come in on the 4th day, sometimes the 5th day. Only 25% of women come later than the 3rd or 4th day. So most of the time, you're gonna get your milk, okay, by the 3rd, 4th day, okay, which is just right. Okay, so that's what your baby needs. As long as your baby's maintaining weight, not losing too much weight, seems satisfied when it pops off the breast, and is passing stool and having 8 wet and dirty diapers a day, you're golden. You don't need a supplement, okay? Always check with your pediatrician, of course, if you are worried when you get home. But those are the key things we look for, okay? And that's what I teach NICU moms and teach all of my moms, really, with newborns, is that's really what you're looking for, okay? But this is something. This is 2 ounces, okay, in a pump bottle. And I was actually pumping about 2 ounces at a week postpartum, okay? Which is typically normal, okay? By 7, 8, 9, 10 days, you should be getting around 2 ounces, if not more, okay? So, I hope that all of that was informative for your first 72 hours and what you need to do to help you with your supply and to help you with breastfeeding, and I hope the visual aids were helpful. Again, just as a recap, please, please, please do not beat yourself up, okay? Just because you don't see, gobs of milk dripping from your breast doesn't mean that you don't have colostrum in there. In fact, your body starts making colostrum between weeks 16 and 22 of pregnancy. So it's in there, okay? Sometimes it's just a little bit harder to get out, and you just keep trying, okay? My personal experience in the hospital is I hand expressed and pumped and breastfed. I did all of it. I was like, let's get this going. So you can do so many things in the hospital, but I want you to know that you're a rock star for choosing to breastfeed. Breast milk is known to be the best food that you can give your baby. So you delivered this beautiful, tiny little human. Pat yourself on the back. That's a super hard job. The second thing is breastfeeding, okay? But you can do this. The number one thing I feel breastfeeding mothers need is support. We need support. We need community outreach. We need support. We need somebody to be able to call or text or Facebook groups that are there to help you. We're, mothers, and we have a big motherhood around us, and we need to be able to do that. So I want everybody to really understand that you don't just produce fountains of milk when the baby comes out, but this is how I want you to do it. It's a proven thing. It does help. I've done it with my second baby, and I was so happy. I was more educated and better prepared than my first child. I just kind of read the books and listened to what everybody said, that it was the most natural thing in the world, and this baby's going to come out and just know what to do, and I was going to instinctively know what to do, and that's truly not how that worked out for me, and I don't want any mama to feel that way. So that is the first 72 hours, okay, in regards to breastfeeding. So it's really important that you're an individual, your baby is an individual, each journey is its own. So I'm happy for you guys. Congratulations on having a baby, or if you're soon to have a baby, yay. You can always reach out to me on Facebook Messenger if you need anything. I'm here for you. It's my passion. It's my love. So I hope that was helpful for you. That is a routine I want you to do in the hospital. Oh, in regards to how often you pump or hand express, you can hand express after every breastfeed session, after the baby pops off, hand express. Definitely. You can do that after every time. Pumping, I only recommend about 2, 3, tops 4 times. Okay, 4 times is pushing it. Okay, you don't need to pump that much, okay, because your milk's going to come in. But to get it in and to get that extra colostrum, if you're not getting anything from hand expressing, just pump 2, 3 times, okay, in a 24-hour period. All right, lovelies, have a great day. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Bye.